YouTube, what is good, y'all? Today we are back and we're gonna be doing a little 1 year special. So it's 1 year with the car. I'm gonna be talking about 1 year of ownership, what I thought about this full year driving the Turbo S. For those who are new, this is a 992 Turbo S with the Aero package. I'm gonna talk a little bit about the mods actually. So I have catless downpipes. I have a Akrapovic exhaust, one of the highest quality exhausts you can have, titanium. I have just a little tune on there that gives it about 75 horsepower increase to go along with the catless downpipes. I have the Vossen wheels on there, as you can see, the chrome wheels. I have an Alcantara steering wheel, and that's about it for the mods. That's about all you need on this car. Definitely needs exhaust. I'll talk about that later. But that's the build. I'm gonna get in, do a little POV drive, talk to you guys about, what I thought about the car, some pros and cons. A little bit more refined video than the last one where I filmed it like 2 months after I bought the car and gave it my view. Now I'm gonna give you the full year, what I thought, some issues that I had. But without further ado, let's get into it. Showcase the interior here. I have this white interior on the GT metallic silver exterior, and this is the Alcantara steering wheel that I added. Carbon inside, all gloss on the outside. Super clean spec. Here's a startup for y'all. Let's put the valves closed and valves open. Alright, y'all, the car's warming up a little bit here, but I'm gonna talk about some pros and cons of ownership. So like I said, owned this car about a year now. I bought it with around 2,000 miles, so put around 5,000 miles on it, give or take. So I have a pretty good understanding of what owning this car is like. I did not daily drive this car. I have a pickup truck that I daily. So this is primarily like my weekend car. So that's where I'm coming from with my perspective. First things first, this is the highest quality car I've ever driven. From the technology is never glitching. It's perfect in that sense. The screen, the infotainment, the speakers, the technology in this car is phenomenal. All the way to the reliability. Obviously, I don't have a lot of miles on the car, but for the 5,000 miles I did put on, I had not have one issue, which I think is pretty awesome. Obviously, if I put 10,000 more miles on it, more things are going to pop up, so take that with a grain of salt. But everyone knows Porsche makes a fantastic car, built super well. So I just wanted to get that out of the way. Like, the quality of this car is unmatched. Coming from a BMW M5, reliability was a little bit worse. This car feels like I can just floor it all day and it's bulletproof. Obviously that's not the case, but that's the impression it's given me. Again, these are my opinions. These are how I feel about the car. It might not be the truth in some aspects, but yeah, this is one of the most reliable cars and just fundamentally sound, for lack of a better term, cars that I've ever driven. And this kind of segues into a con of this car, is that it's so good, it's so well made, it's so refined that it's almost like it drives too easy. Like it's just ridiculous. Like, I can just step on it easily. Like it's just too easy at some point. Like, my grandmother could drive this car to pretty maximum capabilities. And when people are talking about like, getting a weekend car or like their fun car, that's not what they want. And I've had trouble with this, like deciding like, man, do I want something more rambunctious, not as refined, not as well built? So I've been, teetering with that thought over the past year or so. Yeah, like it's not like if you compare this to a McLaren 720, similar price points. When you get in a 720, it feels rambunctious. It feels like it almost like wants to kill you. It's so fast. It sounds a lot better. Obviously, it's made for the track. This isn't, exactly a track car. This is more built like a daily driver than most cars at this price point. Supercars in that sense. But yeah, it feels sometimes too easy. You don't get that like engaging driving. Obviously, it's so fast and like it feels incredible at top speeds, 0 to 60s and whatnot. Like obvious, like no one's saying that it's not incredible, and like I'm not like fully desensitized to the level of speed that this has. But from a pure driving perspective, like you get in a GT3 RS and you feel like you're on the track on a normal road. Like you feel the ground, you feel every turn. It's 2-wheel drive. The back tires are slipping out a lot more than something like this. It's a little bit more engaging drive. Same with the Ferraris, obviously the McLarens. Like you hop in a 812 or a 488 and it's just a little bit more rambunctious of a feel. So if that's important to you, definitely like consider that. If you want that engaging drive, consider the fact that the Turbo S is not going to give you that in terms of or comparison to those other supercars. So yeah, people can look at that as a positive or a negative. I'm kind of in between. Like I like the fact that this is the most well-built machine that I've ever been in. But there's also some drawbacks to that. And what kind of goes hand in hand with that driving experience being a little bit boring is the sound of the car. A lot of people hate the sound of the Turbo S, and I'm one of those people that like, I don't hate it, but I also don't love the sound. I love the pops and the turbo whistle. Like that's like the best part about it. But from a pure like sound standpoint of like you floor in the car, high RPMs, it's a 6-cylinder that's muffled with turbos. Like it just doesn't sound great. So that kind of goes hand in hand with that driving experience I was talking about. I've done everything that you can do to this car to make it sound better, aside from little things like intakes or whatnot. So that is just how it is. This is a not great sounding car. But yeah, that I'm in between on that. I don't think it's a pro or a con. I like that it's valved, especially even with the catless exhaust. The Krapovich is valved. Super easy with that control. But yeah, it could be either seen as a pro nor a con. I'm in the middle. I think it sounds good enough for, the performance that you get kind of outweighs it. But yet again, that's not what Porsche designed the car to be. They didn't design this car to be like a 812 super fast or it's just something that is like a high screaming, high revving car. Like that's not it. It's a 6-cylinder. It's the fastest car on the road. You just got to understand what you're buying. Like I've been dealing with that experience of just I wish this car sounded a little bit better. But then I just think about that performance and how well it pulls and how well it puts the power into the ground. So I don't know, that's just my experience. That's what I think about the sound, the driving experience. Obviously incredible. One of the more underrated things is like the steering, and like you can take corners very, very aggressively in this car, which I didn't expect, because I was always thinking about like the GT3s, the GT3RSs. But like I've never tracked this thing. I'd love to get it on a track. The handling is just super tight, and coming from the M5, the boat, obviously it's a lot better than that. But let's see how. It's just so fast. Like it's almost too fast for the road in some aspects. But what else? Just for people that want to daily this car, I do think it's possible. In the past, I had a hard time, fitting stuffs in for road trip or golfing. A lot of people ask me to fit golf clubs in the back. I wasn't able to because I have a huge golf bag. It's like a big cart bag. It's not fitting back there. I don't want to try to make it fit back there, but if someone has, a regularly sized golf bag, definitely could fit in the back with the back seats down. I fit luggage in here. I took this on a 2-hour road trip down to Miami with 2 suitcases in the back there. No problem. So, the dailyableness it's very possible. It's very possible to daily this car. I think if you work an office job and you have like a short commute, you're golden. The gas mileage is solid on this car if you're not just ripping it in sport the whole time. If you're driving, highway and road and comfort mode, you're getting like 250 to 300 miles in the tank, which it's very good for a car of this nature. A lot of highway driving, I've seen this get up to like 320, 350 miles. So it's a really good all-around car. Again, coming from an M5, which I did daily the M5, this car, it's definitely up there with the nature of being a daily. But it can also be your weekend car. So it's a really good mix, in my opinion. Yeah, I'm trying to think like what other experiences I had with this car during my year of ownership. I guess we can talk a little bit about the depreciation of this car. I haven't really looked at the market, but I mean, in a Porsche and a Turbo S, you're not getting destroyed with depreciation. It's not like you're buying a Aston Martin brand new, which is just going to tank. I bet you I can sell this thing for well over $265. Bought it for around $290, so maybe I can squeeze $270 out of it. I don't know. I have to look at the market, but you're not getting burnt on this car, which you have to take into account, especially if you buy a low mileage version, which probably will be a lot more expensive. You're still not going to get absolutely destroyed with depreciation, which it's a plus of this car. It's like, are you going to go out and buy the new Aston Martin, whatever, the DBX, not the DBX, the DB12 or whatever they drop now, or like a V8 Vantage, like a 2026, those are just going to tank in value. I mean, those are pretty poor examples. I can't think of it off the top of my head, but you guys know what I'm saying. You're not getting burnt with this car in depreciation. You'll be just fine. Let me just say this to be clear. I'm not coming out here giving these negatives like I hate the car, I don't like the car. This car is incredible. So all you people, that want to formulate a little bit of a stronger opinion on this car, or maybe you're even looking to purchase one, these negatives, just don't let it take away from the amazing positives of this car. It is truly an incredible car. Definitely worth it for the money. because you're getting a quality car. You get in a McLaren and you're feeling around the interior and you're wondering, what am I paying for? Obviously the performance, obviously. You don't feel that in this car. Like everything in the interior is so quality. The speakers are incredible. If y'all ever heard the Burmester speakers, the upgraded ones in here, it might be even better than the custom speakers I have in my truck. Like I have a subwoofer and everything. Like these might be better, and you're in a 700 horsepower Porsche. Like it's incredible. You're not getting that in other supercars. That is like my main takeaway here is just the quality of Porsche, the quality of the Turbo S, especially the 992s. Transmission is solid. Just everything is just solid about this car, and that's been my main takeaway over the past year. Is just, I don't have to worry if my car is going to start when I want to go take it out. I don't have to worry that I'm going to blow it up or the transmission is just going to shit itself. Like you just don't have to worry about those things. So if you're one of those people that, you don't want to see your car in the shop every other week, you don't want to deal with the headache, but you want, great performance, I mean, this is the car for you. If you want a little bit more aggressive, engaging car that, you're going to have to bring it into the shop because it's, you got a 720 tuned up to 900 horsepower. You're having a 4.5 second 60 to 130, but, you're in the shop once or twice a month, fixing things, and you're just getting, subpar quality inside. You just got to understand what you're buying. So it's really hard to compare the Turbo S against other supercars. But yeah, those are my, main thoughts as I'm trying to think of, other experiences. But just the overall takeaway is just this car is, it's almost a perfect car. If they could make this 6-cylinder sound a little bit better, I would think this is the perfect car at this price point. You hear the pops of the exhaust. Obviously, some people don't like it. I like it. It gives it some life. But yeah, I think I'm just gonna wrap this video up here. I don't want to yap for too long. I think you guys got a pretty solid understanding of, my opinion on this car. Would I buy it again? Probably. Do I want to try something new? Yes, I would love to own, a McLaren 720 or 750 just to, I really want to see how unreliable those are, what it is like owning one. So maybe sometime in the future I'll keep you guys updated. I don't love hopping car to car like every 2 months. I like owning my cars to give it the proper ownership. But yeah, let me know what other cars you want me to review. I've driven a few other on this channel. Let me know if you guys want me to go a little bit more in depth. I'll try to get more detailed explanations for everything, because this is just me, off the top of my head telling you the opinions about this car. If you guys have any questions or you guys think I'm wrong, let me know in the comments. A lot of you guys have pretty strong opinions around this car, so let me know in the comments what you guys think. And if you like this style of content, I'll catch y'all later. Peace.